Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. A couple of days ago, I filmed a Take 5 here at one of the entrances into our church, and I'm back here again with one of our lovely hand sanitizer dispensers, because something else occurred to me, and it's this: that the welcome that you receive when you get to church is very different from what it used to be. Now we have people in bright yellow jackets printed up with the church's logo. We have a welcome mat that tells you when you're 2 meters apart and reminding you to keep your distance. We have hand sanitizers. We even have a maitre d' who organizes the seating assignments and makes sure that the configurations of the seats, all set out two meters apart, matches the people coming to the service, so we can seat everybody safely and in accordance with government guidelines. Oh, it used to be so different. You know, I remember when I first gave my life to Jesus, after a couple of months, I really knew God was calling me to the ministry. So I went to the leaders of the Salvation Army Church where I got saved, and I said, I believe God is calling me into the ministry. And they said, great, we've got a ministry for you. Now, I thought they were going to let me preach or something, but it turned out that my ministry was to be what they called the welcome sergeant. Salvation Army uses a lot of military terminology. Well, the welcome sergeant was basically the doorkeeper for the house of the Lord. And so my job this was the ministry that I was given, was to shake people's hands. Now we can't do that. Now we have to just give them a wave and a smile. But this was before coronavirus many years ago. My job was to shake people's hands and say, welcome to the Salvation Army, and hand them a hymn book. Well, at first I wasn't very impressed by that. When I said I wanted to be in the ministry, I wasn't thinking about shaking people's hands and being a doorkeeper. I wanted to be Billy Graham or somebody like that. But then I read a verse in the Bible, and it's in Matthew chapter 25. And it's where the parable of the talents is, and that those that were faithful with what they were given more. But those that were not faithful with what they were given, even that which they had was taken away from them. And I realized that while I might not feel that welcoming people was such a big deal, if I would do it unto the Lord, then the Lord would do more. And so that's what I did. I practiced to be the best doorkeeper, the best welcome sergeant the Salvation Army had ever had. I was living in a flat with an apartment with a number of other young men, and I used to lock myself in the bathroom and practice in front of the mirror. I would practice smiling at people because I'd been on the streets. I hadn't done a lot of smiling in the last few years. So I practiced in front of the mirror, trying different smiles. Some of them were okay, some of them would have frightened small children, and I practiced welcoming people. I'd try, welcome to the Salvation Army, or welcome, you're very welcome, it's good to see you. So I practiced all these different ways, and then I would hear laughing outside the door, and it was the other lads in the apartment who were splitting their sides laughing at what I was doing in the bathroom. And yeah, it probably did sound really stupid, but I was striving to be the very best I could be at what had been given to me. And you know what? God opened up other doors. Soon I found myself being able to share my testimony in services and visiting other churches, and then being asked to preach, and then went to Bible college and ended up as a pastor. So thank God, you know, being faithful in little was a doorway to God giving more. And can I just say this as well? Actually, welcoming people at the door was not the little task I thought it was, because I reflected on this later. When I first went to church, I came in and I was ready to run out again. I really didn't feel like I belonged. Everyone there seemed so nice and respectable, and I was in a bad way at the time. And there's a man there called Jackie Boyd, and Jackie came over to me and he shook my hand. He said, "It's so great to see you. I'm so glad you came." And I'm trying to work out who he is and how he knows me. And it turned out he didn't know me. Jackie used to do that with everybody. He would go and shake hands with every visitor and welcome them and say how glad he was to see them. But do you know what? That made the difference to me, because I was getting ready to run out the door. And the welcome I received from him, it made me stay. And I heard the word of God, and I gave my life to Jesus. And everything that's happened over these last 39 years has stemmed from the welcome I got from Jackie Boyd. Jackie went to be with the Lord not so long ago, and I thank God for his life. But you know what? Him simply being a doorkeeper and welcoming people changed my life forever. So I was even wrong in that. It wasn't a small task. It was an important task. But as I found myself faithful in it, God gave me other tasks to do. Today, whatever the Lord gives you to do, may you do it well and do it to his glory. And please join us again next time for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.